guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you didn't know already and it's your first time here, my name is Tara, and today we're going to be doing another part of my declutter series. So today we're going to be focusing on basically base makeup, and when I say base makeup I mean concealer, setting powders, foundation, and setting sprays. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. I'm gonna start off with the Beauty Bakerie Cake Mix Demi Matte Foundation. So I love supporting indie brands. A lot of my collection, makeup collection in general, is filled with indie brand makeup. So the bottle is super cute and sleek. I love it. When I bought this, they sent me two shades. I only bought one shade, but they sent me two different shades. I have the shades 55 and 53, and even though this is a semi-matte foundation, it does not work for me. I did a whole review on this foundation. If you're interested in that, I will link it below so you can see it. For me, it did not work because it was too matte and it left like these weird spots on my face. I really wanted this to work because, like I said, I love indie brands and I actually really love this brand, but this just did not work for me at all, sadly. I'm gonna definitely be decluttering these. We have the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Foundation with SPF 15 in it. I absolutely love this foundation. I'm in the shade Light Ivory, which is light neutral. This is a very good shade match for me. I'm fair light with neutral undertones, so that's probably why this is a good match for me, but some products say that they're a neutral undertone and they're not. I don't use a little cushiony thing to apply this. I actually just go in with a brush. I prefer to apply this with a brush. The thing with this foundation though is that even though it's super affordable, it dries out on one side really quickly. So if that happens, I just take this out and I flip it around, and there's so much more product on the other side and inside the actual component. So that's a little tip and trick if you are struggling with a cushion foundation that you feel like is drying out very quickly. So I will definitely be keeping these. This is probably my favorite drugstore foundation. Next product I have here is the Makeup Revolution Stick Foundation, and this is in the shade F1, so it looks like this. I'll actually swatch it. This is a pretty decent match for me. It honestly is actually a little tiny light for me. I'm a little on the fence when it comes to this because I've worn it and I've made it work, but then I've worn it and it's not worked for me. You can tell I've only used it a few times, but I think I'm gonna hold on to it because I still want to test it out and see how I like it. The coverage is pretty good on it. I would say that it is a satin matte. It's definitely a satin finish. It's not too drying. It's not too dewy, but if you use the wrong powder with this, it can get very dry really quickly. So yeah, I'm gonna hold on to this and see if I can continue to find ways to make it work. The Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation, and this is in the shade Alabaster. This is a pricey foundation, and I've used up quite a bit of it already. I really like this. This is definitely a satin finish, and if I use it with a very hydrating primer, it's absolutely gorgeous. It is full coverage. This is literally my perfect match. This is a swatch of it right here, and I just really like this. When you put it on, it stays put. It looks beautiful on the skin, and a little tiny bit goes a long way. I have seen people with oily skin love this. I've seen people with dry skin love this. I've seen people with textured skin love this. It is just a really great foundation, and it's great for travel because it's a stick foundation. The next foundation I have is the Ulta Beauty Moisturizing Foundation Stick, and I'm in the shade Light Neutral. This also is a very good match for me, and it's a little bit more neutral than the Hourglass foundation. I love this. It's just such a nice dewy finish on the skin, and it blends out beautifully. I like to apply this with either a brush or a sponge. It comes out looking really nice either way, and I was pleasantly surprised by this little guy right here, and it's one of the best stick foundations that I've ever tried. And I wouldn't have figured to find that from Ulta. So, well, from Ulta Beauty. So yeah, I'm definitely holding on to him. The next one I have up here is a little deluxe sample of the Fenty Beauty, what is this called again? Pro Filter Soft Matte Long Wear Foundation. And this is in the shade 150. This is way too dark for me to start off with. Second of all, it's just way too drying on my dry skin, and I have tried to make it work. I know a lot of people that absolutely love this foundation. I think Fenty is amazing and really set the standards for other makeup companies and brands to be super inclusive when it comes to their foundations, their products in general. Like, I applaud Fenty for being that way. And for when they launched the foundation having 40 shades automatically, that is just absolutely amazing. But for me, this just did not work out, sadly. The e.l.f. Oil-Free SPF 15 foundation. This is too dark for me. It's not too bad. It's about a medium coverage. This is in the shade Alabaster. I don't love it and I don't hate it, but I never reach for it. And I feel like somebody else could get a lot more use out of this. I know I've used this and I know I didn't hate it, but I don't really remember my experience with it, so it wasn't like overly bad and it wasn't overly good to where I wanted to keep reaching for it, so I'm gonna declutter it. It's the Burt's Bees Goodness Glows Liquid Makeup, and this is in the shade 1005 Porcelain. I love that it comes with a pump. When Burt's Bees released a makeup line, I was so excited, and this is not that bad of a match on me. It is super, I don't know if you guys can see how wet that is. It is very dewy, and I like a dewy foundation, like I said before, but this can get a little too slick if you don't powder well with it. I think I'm going to hold on to it as an affordable option. Do not use this if you are oily because you will look like an oil slick, 100%. The next one I am going to talk about is probably my favorite high-end foundation that I've ever tried, which is the Born This Way foundation by Too Faced, and I'm in the shade Swan. I actually purchased this foundation like years ago, and they didn't have any shade lighter than Snow, and Snow was too dark for me, and it was back when I really didn't know a lot about primers and stuff like that, so I was using a mattifying primer with dry skin and putting this on top of it, and it looked so bad, so I returned it. But then when they came out with the new shades, I ended up picking up Swan, and now that I knew a little bit more about makeup, I used the right primers, and this looks flawless. I wouldn't say it's completely full coverage, but this just looks flawless on the skin. Like, it doesn't look overly cakey even when you do build it up. It's definitely a satin finish, but it's just so skin-like and beautiful, and I love this foundation so much, and it wears for so long. Like, my full-time job is working in a kitchen, and this is one of the foundations that I can wear, and it fades just so beautifully throughout the day. It doesn't leave like any weird stuff around my nose or around my chin. I really love this foundation, you guys. Definitely keeping that. The Flower Beauty Light Illusion Luminous Makeup Nude Skin Feel All Day Wear Broad Spectrum SPF 18. Whew, that's a mouthful. And this is in the shade Porcelain L1. This is straight up orange on me. Like, I can't even enjoy the formula. I'm not like wowed by the formula either, but this is straight up orange on me. I cannot, this is not neutral. I don't know who they were trying to lie to. I don't think it's overly luminous either. I don't know. I mean, it looks very wet on the skin, but for me, it's just not super luminous, and it's just straight up orange, and they don't make a lighter shade. And maybe I would try it out again if they made, expanded their shade range, but for me, this is a definite declutter. The next foundation I have here is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation, and this is in the shade Porcelain, which is fair warm. This shade does not match me, for one, and for two, it's not that bad of a match, but for two, this is just so freaking drying on me, and it smells like paint, and I hate the applicator. Like, this is just absolutely annoying. Yeah, it smells like straight up paint, like caulk, like, not caulk, like, anyways, it just smells awful. It looks awful on my skin. I know people that love this shit. Like, they ride or die, hardcore, obsessed with this shit. Not me. I don't get down with the get down on this. I'm one of the very few that just don't love this. I just don't love this. So for that reason, I'm going to give this away to somebody that will enjoy it. The next product that I have here is probably it is my most repurchased foundation. Well, it's a CC cream, but it is my most repurchased out of all these. This is like my fourth one, and this is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC cream. Color correcting full coverage cream, anti-aging hydrating serum, SPF 50. This is really great. You can get light coverage to full coverage with this. I like to apply this with a brush, not a sponge. And I love the tube. I like when they come in these squeezy tubes like this with a pump. It just is so nice. And this looks so skin-like on the skin, and it covers up all my redness. The shade Fair, they need to expand their shade range. I really, really, really love this so much. The next product I have here is the Physicians Formula The Healthy Foundation SPF 20 Brightening Complex, and it says it's for all skin types, and I am in the shade LC1. This is too dark for me. It has that doe-foot applicator situation going on. This actually is not a bad foundation. I love Physicians Formula, and I really think they did a pretty decent job with this foundation. The shade range is horrendous. There's like 5 or 8 shades, between 5 and 8 shades of this. It's so pathetic how small their shade range is. Like, they're worse than the cosmetic shade range. It says the Healthy Foundation. I would not say that this is dewy at all. I'm kind of on the fence because I do like it, but I just never reach for it, and I really want to limit my foundations to what I'm wearing because the makeup expires. So I think I'm gonna give it to somebody else because I just don't reach for it that often. The Colourpop No Filter Foundation, and I have the shade Fair 30 and the shade Fair 05. So Fair 05 is way too light for me, and Fair 30 is too dark for me. So I actually mix them together to create my perfect shade. I didn't overly hate this, but I didn't overly love this either. I feel like there should have been a cap on this, but I kind of like that they didn't do a cap at the same time because plastic is one of the worst things for this environment. Some people say they find that this is matte, and some people say that they find that this is dewy. I think that it goes on very dewy and luminous, but it definitely dries down matte, if that makes sense. I think I'm just going to keep Fair 05 and use it as like a mixing medium for some other foundations that might be a little bit too dark for me. Next up, I have the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD High Definition Longwear Illuminating Foundation, and this is beautiful if you use it correctly. I have to use the right primer with it, and I have to powder. I love the white base. This shade is, where is the shade? This is Porcelain. It's too dark for me. So I love the white base to mix in with other foundation. If the foundation is too dark but is still a neutral foundation, I can put a little dab of this in it, and it will lighten it and it will match me. This says Porcelain, but I would say this is more like a leaning medium. So I'm definitely going to get rid of this guy. Even though it is a very beautiful foundation on the skin, it is very dewy, it's very pretty. I will keep this. Next up is probably the worst foundation I've ever tried in my entire life. This is the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation, and this is the shade Fair Beige. Oh my god, this foundation is fucking awful. This is a swatch of it right here. First of all, I've used this twice. You don't get a lot of product in here. This looks so bad on my skin. It is so drying. The packaging's super cute, but it is so freaking drying. It looks so bad. It is like, ugh. Dry patches all on my nose. It clings to everything. It makes my pores look humongous. It cakes up. Like, this is literally, no one talks about this, and there's a reason for it, because it's so bad. I don't even know if I would want to try to give this to somebody. It's that bad. I don't know any skin type that would like this, because even though I'm super dry skin, sometimes every now and again I'll have an oily skin day. It's very rare, but it happens. And I tried to use this when I had one of those oily skin days, because I'm like, oh, maybe it's just because I have dry skin. I'll try and make it work. No. I don't think anybody will like this. Oh, I'm getting rid of that. I'm just going to toss that in the trash. And the last foundation I have here, I think this is the last one, yep, is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 OOA Porcelain. This is full coverage, like full. This is matte and it is full coverage. If I put like a little, not even a pea size, like a pin size of this mixed in with this, I can get the most flawless base, like so gorgeous. So for that, I'm definitely keeping this guy too. It is very lightweight on the skin if you mix it in with a dewier foundation. By itself, I do find that it does cake up a little bit. If you're looking for that full coverage look though, this is super affordable and it's really nice. And the undertones are really great for people of color, which I appreciate, it's very hard for people that are fair skinned to find good foundations that they can actually find their shade and their undertone in. Nowhere near the capacity that people of color face, but we do have that struggle. If I feel like brands just cater to medium skin tones for the most part, and that's it, light to medium skin tones. So yeah, I would definitely check out this Milani foundation if you are into a full coverage, you know, satin matte, more leaning matte kind of a look right here. And it's super affordable. I have this little straggler right here, which I know I'm not getting rid of. This is the Josie Maran Argan Daily Moisturizer SPF 47. And this is just an SPF. I wear this in the summertime if I'm not wearing a foundation with SPF in it. You should still wear SPF under any foundation or any product that has SPF in it. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. We all, you know, are guilty of something. It doesn't leave a weird white cast on my skin. It doesn't have like a filmy feeling that I have found a lot of sunscreens do. I really, really, really like this a lot. So I'm keeping that. Let's do primer really quickly because I don't have a lot of primers here because I have basically decluttered any primer that I haven't liked already. So the first thing I have here is the Cover FX Custom Infusion Drops Radiance, and this is basically an oil that I use when something is super matte, like a foundation is super matte, or as, you know, a priming kind of esque type of vibe, or something that I would lay on my skin if my skin is super dry. I love oils. I love facial oils, like skincare oils. I love elixirs. I love primers that come in an oil type-esque thing. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep this little pea body right here. Next up, I have this little guy. I think I got it from an IPSY. It's the Japonesque. I can never say this right, but this is the name of it. And this is the Velvet Touch Primer. And this is basically, I wouldn't say it's a mattifying primer. It's more of a pore filling primer. I have tried this a few times. You can tell it's been used. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But I'd never reach for it. So I'm going to pass it on to somebody else. Next up, I have the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. I have tried this before. I don't think I've used this one, but I have tried the full size, and I've decluttered the full size before. I'm pretty sure I got this in a subscription box, and I just held on to it just in case I was going to do somebody else's makeup. But I just don't ever use it. Like I said, I don't think it's ever been used, so I'm going to donate that to somebody. Next up is my most repurchased full-size primer, and this is the Becca First Light Priming Filter. I always get this confused with the backlight one because I would think the backlight would be darker than First Light would be lighter. Anyways, so this is the First Light one, and this looks like it's super purple. Like, oh my god, it's so purple. It comes out purple, as you can see, but when you blend it out, it's not purple, obviously, and it just leaves your skin so luminous. I just love it, and it makes my skin feel so fresh, so beautiful, and almost every foundation I put on top of it, it just looks beautiful. You're gonna start hearing the train now. I'm sorry. We live right near railroad tracks, and you're gonna start hearing the train. So yeah, I'm definitely holding on to this. This is one of my favorite primers of all time. Becca makes amazing face products, like literally the best. The next one I have here is the Versali Unicorn Essence, and I tried this a long time ago. I got a sample at Sephora. First off, it smells freaking amazing. I got a sample of this at Sephora like a year ago, and I loved it, but I never bought it because I didn't want to spend $50-something on an oil. But then they came out with the mini ones for like 20 bucks, and I just picked this up not that long ago. So it comes out again like this pinkish kind of thing, but when you blend it out all over the skin, it just hydrates the skin so beautifully, and it seeps right in, and it's just, oh, it smells so good, I could eat it. But foundation applies over it beautifully. You can use it on the lips. It's safer on the eyes. And this is really nice even just to throw on if you're going to have a no makeup day. And you're just going to throw this on and just do your brows and maybe some mascara and a bold lip. And this will just make your skin look so radiant and beautiful. I really like this a lot. I don't know if it's worth the price tag though. That I will say. Like this for $20, I don't know. But I'll definitely use it, and I definitely like it. Alright, the next primer I have here is a primer I bought with the foundation. I bought it with the Physicians Formula Foundation. This is the primer that's supposed to go with it. This is the Spotlight Illuminating Primer from Physicians Formula. I hate this. This makes every pore on your skin look awful. I could see this being marketed as like a body luminizer, like a, you know, like to put on your shoulder. I might keep it for that actually. That's kind of a good idea. But okay, so here's a little dab of it. Look at this. I think they were kind of trying to do like the Becca backlight primer type of thing, but it just looks so not glittery, but shiny on the face. It accentuates every stinking pore. It has a tint to it, which is just bizarre to me. It just smells weird. It's just not a good primer for me anyway, personally. I don't like this. If I've tried it 3 times and I still don't like it, it needs to go. This needs to go. Next up, we have another primer I don't like. This is the Wet n Wild Cover All Primer Base. And this is basically like a pore filling primer. I don't know why I ever tried buying pore filling primers. I do have issues with my pores every now and again. When I stop taking care of my skin, my pores start to really get large. This definitely is awful. I don't like this. I know people that rave about it. It doesn't pill up on me, but it has that silicone feel, and I don't think my skin really likes silicone type primers because they just never react good to them. So I'm just gonna give this to somebody. This is a deluxe sample. I wanted to try the deluxe sample before I bought the full size, and I love it, and I will be buying the full size. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. It's a primer and moisturizer in one. This is so nice. It is so hydrating, and it just feels so good on the skin. It is definitely a moisturizer and primer in one. That's 100% true. And I know people with oily skin that absolutely love this as well because it's so lightweight and makeup goes flawless. I mean, flawless on top of it. And it doesn't leave you, even though it's hydrating, it doesn't leave you too dewy, and it doesn't make you oily either, because some dewy primers, even with dry skin, will make you oily. So yeah, this is just really, really great. You definitely need to shake it before you use it though, because if not, then it comes out in like a weird consistency. But yeah, I'll definitely be buying the full size once I finish this guy. This is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer Water. I know people that absolutely love this, and I have tried it. It's like a third gone. I've tried it a few times. I cannot get this to work for me. I don't know what people love about it. I don't see any difference in my skin when I use this. None at all. Yeah, I'm gonna pass it on to somebody else that can maybe try it out and see if they like it, and if they do, they can buy it. If they don't, well, it was just a sample. The Hourglass Veil Primer. I have a love-hate relationship with this. I hate the applicator. It's not an awful primer. It's like, it almost looks like the Smashbox primerizer that I just showed you when you apply it. When you rub it out, it's very smoothing. It goes and fills in your pores a little bit. This pairs really well with the Hourglass Vanish Stick Foundation. Like, these two pair so well together. But other than that, I have not found a single foundation that I like this with. So I basically just keep this for this because they pair so well together on my skin personally. So I will keep it because it is, you know, just a little guy, you know. I'll finish it up. I mean, it leaves the skin feeling so soft and beautiful and nice. This is the Tatcha, the Silk Canvas Primer. I've almost, oh, it smells so good too. I'm a smeller. I love to smell shit. This is so freaking nice, you guys. It feels so good when you, I shouldn't put my finger in this. It's kind of gross. I never do this. It feels so nice on the skin. A lot like the Hourglass Veil does, but this one works so much better. Like, it doesn't dry out my skin. It fills in my fine lines. It fills in my pores. Foundation applies so smoothly on it. I'm so sad that I love this because the full size is like $54. And I will buy it when I finish this deluxe sample because I like it that much. When I'm having a really bad skin day and my pores are like so huge, I can put this on. I don't even need to put foundation on. I can put this on and then throw an elixir or like the Versali oil, and my skin will look radiant. I really like this primer. And then we have, for the last primer, I thought that was the last one, but this is actually, it's not really a primer, it's an elixir, but I use it for a primer too. This is the Becca Skin Love Glow Elixir Brightening Hydra Complex. I got a sample of this when I was in Maine because I live like 4 hours from a Sephora. So when we went to Maine, I ended up going to Sephora and I got a sample of this and I loved it so much that I bought it. And this is expensive. Like, this is pretty freaking expensive. It's like a green color and it smells so good. It smells like cucumbers. Like, it smells so stinking good. It is so hydrating. This is what I have on my skin today. I have no foundation on, no concealer on. I literally just have this elixir on, and it just feels so freaking nice on the skin. It leaves your skin feeling so smooth, so radiant. Makeup applies so nice on top of it. Oh, I just want to eat my hand right now. This is literally the best elixir I've ever tried, and I was so sad when I loved the sample because I'm like, oh, now I gotta buy it. But it is just so great, like so great on my dry skin. I don't know if oily skin would like it. I think they would because it does seep right into the skin. It doesn't leave like a weird dewy finish or anything like that. It just leaves your skin looking radiant. Again, I think Becca makes amazing base product. If you're interested, go into your local Sephora, get a sample, try it out, see if you like it. Let me know down below if you like it. It's so good. So that's it for this video. If you liked it, you can give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what your favorite products were out of all the products that I showed, and I really hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye guys.